teachers and schools often are just overwhelmed with all of the opportunities, which is really, really good in that there's so many things around environmental education and education for sustainability that are just growing and growing in terms of opportunities. But often it's just overwhelming for schools. They get got bombarded on a daily basis, emails just coming in saying, this is the best thing since sliced bread. You need to do this. This is a new initiative. This is a new competition. And so what we've done is to help schools is weaved all of this into a journey. And it might be that you kind of start at the beginning. It might be that you've already progressed some of this and you kind of pick certain pieces up. But let me just share with you then what we've created. So we've gone out there and kind of found everything that exists and put it together into a 5-step journey. And the beginnings of this is all about bringing together the school community and starting a conversation and agreeing a kind of common language. And partly that's around surveying staff and kind of exploring their interests and knowledge and understanding. And this very much is how you make something sustainable. So rather than being top down forced on people, it's very much an organic process that begins with everyone coming together. What we've also done is integrated into this the Nature Connection Index, which is a simple set of sentences that people score themselves against, and then it gives you a value between 0 and 100. And that's a very good baseline to then be thinking about the impact of exploring this, to actually kind of quantify the impact of exploring this approach. Now, step 2 is then about looking at the opportunities of staff training. So again, that's often an area of potential kind of growth, is around thinking, well, what is it we want to train staff in? And what we've done is compiled a list of what we think is pretty comprehensive, and we're constantly adding to that. Again, if there's anything you think we're missing, please do kind of send it to us. But there's a spectrum from things that are free, things that you can watch and read, which are really helpful to develop your knowledge and understanding. And then there's things that are online or in person and provided from a kind of wealth of organizations. And then it's about mapping your current curriculum. So we've got together some tools that are available from other third-party websites that give you the framework and the structure for you to be able to maybe share it with heads of department or heads of year, and to be thinking about, where does sustainability currently sit? Where are the opportunities to develop this further? Then the next one is thinking about all of the opportunities from third-party kind of external organizations. It might be about local wildlife trusts and connecting with those. It might be to do with more national campaigns like Let's Go Zero, or it could be to do with eco schools, or it could be to do with the UK School Sustainability Network. It's then thinking about, okay, well, what are the badges and awards and flags that you can achieve, and how can you integrate them into your actual curriculum so that it's not an additional load for teachers? It's instead something that just comes about. The evidence is created through the teaching, through the everyday that people do. And then also we've pulled together resources to help you map your school grounds. And again, there's a varying level of difficulty. So things that are quite simple that even students might choose to use, that you could integrate into some learning activities, or it could be something that's a bit more complex that actually kind of is using something called GIS and computers to be able to do this. But the idea being that you give areas of the school site kind of give responsibility for those to certain subject areas or teachers, so that then they're integrated into the lessons and used as a resource. And that helps both to manage those spaces, but also to get the best out of them in terms of learning. And then it's only in step 3 that you actually think about shifting your curriculum, and you start to think, well, kind of how can we integrate these different pillars or these different questions? And it might be that you don't use this exact wording or the framing, and it might be that you use as much or as little as possible. From our experience, we know that schools use this as a strand, and they weave it throughout their curriculum, through each year group, and it's part of what they do. And then ultimately you can start to reflect on that. And we've again pulled together some resources to allow you to be critical and to reflect on your teaching of education for sustainability, and to look at how you might grow. But ultimately then as well, this last step is very much about the idea of then sharing best practice and what we want to do. And it may be that you already are a school that are doing this. We want to hear from you. We want to help share and embed that education for sustainability and all that good practice in thousands of schools across the country.